Hello everyone, welcome to TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber Day 17. It's the final day. You've got me as your teacher. If you have no idea what's going on, you're a regular viewer of my channel and this is very confusing. Advent of Cyber is an event run by TryHackMe. It's completely free. You could do it completely in your web browser. It's an advent calendar, which is in the UK. Kids will get a little calendar and every single day they've got a chocolate and they'll eat that up until Christmas. So every day from December 1st to December 25th, there is a new cybersecurity challenge. And they challenge a whole bunch of things. So we've seen SQL injection, we've fixed some code, we've seen an insecure file upload, and we've created a malicious shell. And in previous weeks, we've had open source intelligence, smart contracts. Like, they really challenge you to learn something a little bit new. There are, in fact, prizes. And don't worry, if you haven't participated up until now, you can. You still have time to catch up. You still have time to get involved and have a go yourself. And I absolutely do recommend it. Every question you answer, you get into a raffle. So if you answer every single question, you get a raffle ticket for it. There's a bunch of really good prizes up for grabs as well. So today is day 17. After handling restricted file uploads and SQLI vulnerabilities, McSkiddy continued to review Santa's web applications. She stumbled upon user-submitted inputs that are unrecognizable and some were even bordering on malicious. She then discovered that Santa's team hadn't updated these web applications in a long time, as they clearly needed more controls to filter misuse. Can you help McSkiddy research and learn a useful technique to handle that in the future? We've had a lot of looks at input validation, whether that is input validation in a URL like a GET request where it's GET ID and we can put in like an SQL injection payload, or that is unrestricted file upload that isn't checking for data type. What else can we do? We can look at free-form text fields. So the best way to think about this is really to think about how a piece of data is used in an application. So in this case, if we look at day 15, you cannot manually type your CV in the input field. It asks for a file. That's the validation. You can't just upload any file. It has to follow a set of strict rules. So it has to be a document. It has to have the right file extension, etc., etc. So one way we can do this fairly easily is by using regex. And regex stands for regular expressions. Now in HTML5, an input element specifically has a validation in the form of a regex pattern. And there is a really good resource for getting started with regex, but you can see that it looks a bit like weird code, but actually if you break it down, we can look at it. So this first one is saying this username must have the pattern, a lowercase letter from A to Z, an uppercase letter from A to Z, or a number between 0 and 9, and it has a plus symbol, and the asterisk is 0 or more, this plus is 1 or more, or we can have a minimum and maximum here. And this bottom one is saying you can match anything, any numbers of time, as long as it ends with @TryHackMe, and then a dot, this is like a backslash to escape it, com. So the square brackets say we're going to match one character within the set of characters. So in this case, if we have vowels, we would have them like this. It doesn't matter what the order is, it's just checking if it's in this list of options. You can also put in a range like this. So this is uppercase and lowercase. You can add in numbers, so that's lowercase letters or numbers. You can have this dot character, which is any characters, the minimum and maximum, the plus symbol. You can also use the little arrow to mean the start and the $sign to mean the end. So in the end of a line, the end of a string. So if we just wanted to match letters that are between 3 and 9 characters in length, our pattern would look like this. So this is at the very start. It's got to be within the lowercase A to Z range. And we're going to match minimum 3, maximum 9. So if we go over 9, we don't want to match it. And then we want it to end. So we're not going to grab just part of it, we're going to grab the whole thing. So there's this concept of grouping and grabbing, and escaping. So you can see, here's an example here. So in this case, if we wanted to match both www and TryHackMe, we could group that www together and match it a question mark, which is saying, hey, this is optional, by the way. TryHackMe, and then escape that .com and end the pattern. We have to have this escape because the dot in regex means anything. And this summarizes the options here, and we're going to need that in a second. So the unique thing about freeform text is that we're kind of looking for like unstructured data. So we know what structured data looks like. Names don't necessarily have special characters, and if they do have special characters, they're usually specific, like, for example, in my last name, a hyphen. So there are some remediations here, and you can see that this has like a name and it has like placeholders, but you can put in whatever you want here. There's nothing that's saying, hey, this needs to match certain data. It's just free text, right? So if we were to look at options, we could say, okay, the min length, the max length, the size. We could have whether or not they're required or not required. We can match patterns here. We can, on this date, have a minimum and maximum. So we can start to add more granularity. We can start to be a bit more specific on what we're looking for. And again, this is only the first stage. In like an actual software engineering project, they'd have a lot more requirements than this. They may use much more fancier tools, but this is a great place to start in making sure we can have some limits. The text area command here doesn't necessarily work in the same way, because we would need to define what contents, character sets, symbols is acceptable, and then whitelisting. It's still a very open field. It's saying comments such as output escaping, parameterized queries, etc. can be implemented as well. PHP has this great HTML entities, which just removes any HTML. There's the HTML purifier library. There's a lot of options here. And even XSS, you cannot do this with input validation alone. Otherwise, the second somebody finds a workaround, that's going on Twitter. Instead, we look at things like secure cookies, content security policies, headers, escaping, and purifying input. So we're going to start up the virtual machine. We don't need the attack box. This is just going to appear as like in the side. If we just wait like a few seconds for this to load, we can actually have a go at doing some regular expression practice ourselves and having to look at how we might do this in data. By the way, if you are a regular viewer of mine and you're into like bug bounty hunting, grep is such an important tool, and regex is so good to learn. I really do recommend. There's a great website called regex1, which has like online tutorials that you can follow. It's also completely free. But if you look at someone like Tom Nom Nom, most of his hacking is done in regex and searching and grepping for stuff. So it's really good for like data wrangling, for example. So we just open the attack bot. Cool. So we're just going to open up the terminal here, and we're going to cd into desktop. Now we can egrep, and in this case, I'm just going to put in a single character and then strings. Cool, so it's grabbed every reference of A. So filtering for usernames, alphanumeric, minimum of 6 characters, maximum of 12 characters, may consist of upper and lowercase letters. So how do we figure this out? If we scroll up here, we actually have some examples. So if we look at this pattern here, this is saying lowercase letters, uppercase letters, and any numbers from 0 to 9. That's exactly what we're looking for. And if we look at this pattern here, this is just lowercase letters between 3 and 9 characters in length. So let's use that as our little base here. So I'm just going to load up the same thing. And I'm going to type in this A to Z 0 to 9. And then we're going to need it to be, I've forgotten the length already, minimum of 6 characters, maximum of 12 characters, and then we want that to be the end of the line. And bam, we've grabbed them, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 total. Nice. One of the usernames can consist of a readable word concatenated with a number. So if we have a look, we can see user35. I don't know if it's going to ask for user or user35. Cool. Emails. So let's have a look at emails. So we have a local part at domain. Local part is a random string. The domain is form of domain name TLD. All top level domains are .com in this example. So again, we have an example here because we have this like required pattern here. So let's start with that. Just going to go up and change my little A here. So we know it's going to be anything with an @ symbol, at anything, and then a .com. So this one here is saying any amount. So we're looking for any length of any character, an @ symbol, then any length of any character, but it must end in .com. And we need to just put, we need to just put the anchors at the front and the end, just so we just grabbing it as like the front and the first list. So here we go. We can scroll down to here and go, how many emails was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Done. How many unique domains there are? Well, we've got Gmail, AMG, Yahoo, Gmail again, Fedful, TryHackMe, Yahoo again, Canary.com, Hotmail, which I think is new, yep, TryHackMe, and Alfalfa. So that is 8. Cool. What is the domain of the email with the local part Lewisham? So we're looking for Lewisham, and that is amg.com, because that's Lewisham and that's AMG. Maximax is fedful.com. Admit. Hotmail is Hussein.Vault. Bam. That's done with emails. Now we can filter from URLs. So it starts with either HTTP or HTTPS. Some of the URLs have www, and we should have a .something. So let's build this up. So we have to start, so we're going to have an anchor at the very start. So the start of the string must either be HTTP or HTTPS. So we can make that S optional. So that's saying we don't necessarily need the S. Then some of the URLs have www. So again, this is optional. Then we're going to we should have r flag. But then since this is a special character, we might need to escape it. I can't remember. You know what? I'm just going to do there is 3 characters of anything there, which is going to be our : /. And then we can do .anything, and then we want to force it to be a dot. And then we can have anything afterwards, and then the end of the string. So if we take a look, we can see, actually, we've got a bunch of these. We've got some HTTPS and we've got some HTTPs. So how many URLs fit the syntax provided? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. How many URLs start with HTTPS? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bam! And that's it for day 17. Thank you very much for joining me on this code review journey of the past 3 days. It's been great to have the chance to hang out with you all. Thank you very much for TryHackMe for inviting me to speak. This video isn't sponsored or anything. I just really like Advent of Cyber. I think it's a great thing to get involved in. The prizes are good, but you learn so much. I've never done forensics before. Picking up a little bit of forensics, having a go, playing around. It's really cool to learn stuff about security that I just didn't know before. And if there's one thing I can tell you about security, is that you are always learning. 100% all the time you're learning. So thank you very much, everybody. And I will catch you in my next videos. Bye, everyone.